let's tell you that the United States Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, is expected to arrive in Nigeria today. Mr. Blinken is on a tour, is on a 4-country tour to Africa, where he will also visit Cape Verde, Ivory Coast, and Angola as part of the U.S. commitment to deepening relations with Africa despite global crisis. On Monday, Mr. Blinken was in Cape Verde, where he held talks with Prime Minister Ulysses Correa and visited the city's port, which received funding for modernization efforts from the U.S. government's Millennium Challenge Corporation. He also visited Abidjan, the largest city and economic capital of Côte d'Ivoire, on Monday. The chief U.S. diplomat's trip to West Africa comes as Washington deepens its economic and security partnership in regions where China and Russia have made significant inroads. Let's talk security. Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, has been speaking on the security situation in the federal capital and how the administration is working to keep residents safe. The minister, who was once a governor of Rivers State, disclosed that governing FCT as a minister is entirely different from governing Rivers State, where he had absolute executive powers. The minister spoke during a media chat with selected news organizations in Abuja. He said there are financial constraints to tackling insecurity in the FCT, and the National Assembly will have to create a legal framework for fighting insecurity.
No. You report to the president. You seek approval from the president. All right? In the states, security funds are there to fight security. I found out here it's not the same thing. It's not the same. It's not the same. There is nothing like that.
No security vote.
There's nothing like that here. I have to get to Mr. President when he sends it to the National Assembly. So you can see the process. It's not as easy as that of the state. It is not as easy as that of the state.
We're staying with security. The Northern Elders Progressive Forum and Northern Professionals Development Group have commended President Bola Tinubu for ongoing military operations in the Northwest. The groups also emphasized the need for political understanding, unity, and mutual respect among northern political elites, religious leaders, and traditional rulers.
People like me that come from the Northwest are appreciative of what we are seeing and hearing about the air operation going on now in some bushes and some areas of Sokoto, Kebbi, Zamfara, Katsina, Kaduna, and some part of Niger State. The airstrike and ground operation in Sokoto, Zamfara, particularly and some part of Kaduna and Niger State, have yielded much success, which has tremendously forced the majority of bandits to leave their enclaves looking for another shelter. That's why we have this problem now in Abuja, Nasarawa, Kogi, and some part of North Central. While praying for continued peace and political cohesion in our region and the nation in general, we appeal to the northern political elites to come back home, include religious and traditional rulers, to create an environment of political unity, understanding, and mutual respect for one another.
Operatives of the Nigeria Police Force have apprehended a local government chairman in Benue State and one other suspect in an alleged assassination plot. In a statement by the Force Public Relations Officer, Assistant Commissioner of Police, Olumoyiwa Adijobi, preliminary investigations revealed that a local government chairman, whose identity the police are yet to disclose, allegedly contracted a militia with the intention of murdering Speaker of the Benue State House of Assembly, Ondona Dajo. He also mentioned that operatives of the Force Intelligence Department swiftly swung into action after receiving credible intelligence regarding the planned assassination. ACP Adejobi says both subjects are currently in police custody and are actively cooperating with investigators. Away from security, it's 1 week after the explosion in Ibadan, which killed 5 persons and injured several others. Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dele Alake, visited the scene on Monday, where he expressed shock at how elite residents could not speak up when they noticed illegal activities in the area. Lido Yowoli has more in this report.
It's almost a week after the deadly explosion shook the entire city of Ibadan, and the memory is still fresh in the minds of many residents. A few days after expressing empathy for the affected persons, the Minister of Solid Minerals Development is now physically present at the scene of the incident to assess the situation and evaluate the progress made by the responders. Clearing of the debris is almost at ground zero, and the rescue operation team remains vigilant for any potential emergencies. The minister expressed shock at the level of damage, but more shocking for him was residents who kept quiet while these illegal activities continued in the area.
Kind of explosives will be stored in a residential area
for years,
and not a slum, in a high-profile environment where you have enlightened citizens. This is not your slum. Permit my mention.
Regarding the individuals responsible for these incidents, the minister says no one will be left off the hook once investigations are concluded.
It will be presumptuous and precipitate for the federal government to make any solid pronouncement or categorical pronouncement on this until we have examined all the forensic analysis reports, all the investigations from all the agencies, the security agencies, the Mines Inspectorate Division of the Ministry of Solid Minerals, and the intelligence arms of the various intelligence arms of the security agencies. They are all working around the clock to ensure that there is an authentic and verifiable forensic report.
The minister also visited Governor of Oyo State, Seyi Makinde, and applauded him for taking proactive measures in the midst of the crisis. He had also visited the victims of the explosion at the University Teaching Hospital in Ibadan, where he extended his wishes to the affected individuals. Olaide Oyewole, TVC News, Ibadan.
A bit of health now. The peak season of Lassa fever is here, and so far about 134 cases have been confirmed, alongside 21 deaths recorded across the country. Public health experts in the Federal Capital Territory have now activated a sub-national level emergency operations center after an alert response on a suspected case at the Buhari General Hospital on the 15th of January. Health correspondent Kemi Balogun reports.
In Nigeria, Lassa fever occurs in certain states during the dry season when rats leave the fields to find food from other sources. This leads the rodents into close proximity with people's homes, allowing contact with humans while seamlessly transmitting the virus through contaminated food and water. So far, 486 suspected cases, 134 confirmed cases, and 21 deaths have been recorded, with a case fatality of 15.7%. Now, the Public Health Department of the Federal Capital Territory Administration is giving an update following a response alert to a death of a confirmed Lassa fever case in Bauchi State.
On the 15th of January, the children were presented at our hospital, and based on a high index of suspicion from the case history and from the fact that their mother had died from a hemorrhagic fever, one of the children was confirmed positive and was immediately moved to the National Hospital receiving care, a 14-month-old baby.
So far, 4 suspected cases and 2 confirmed cases with no Lassa fever-related death recorded.
Now to Nigeria. After more than 100 days of attacks in Gaza, Israel has recorded one of its deadliest attacks since ground operations began in Gaza. 24 of its soldiers were killed on Monday, including 21 reservists who died in an explosion likely caused by mines that Israeli forces had placed in 2 buildings to demolish them. Reports say a missile fired by Palestinian armed fighters hit a tank near the buildings. Chief spokesman of the Israel Defense Force, Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari, said the reservists were killed in central Gaza, close to the Israeli side of the border. Israel's military also confirmed that 3 officers were killed in a separate attack in southern Gaza. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has described the deaths as one of the most difficult days since the war erupted. At least 25,490 persons have been killed in Gaza, in Israel attacks on Gaza since 7th of October. The revised death toll in Israel is about 1,139. And that's TVC News this hour. For more updates on the stories we're monitoring, you can visit our website, tvcnews.tv. You can also follow us on our social media handles. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and on